G'day everyone, and welcome to the first lecture for BMA703 Entrepreneurship. My name is Stuart Crispin and I'm going to be the unit coordinator for this subject in semester 2 of 2017. As I said in my welcome video, the purpose of this unit is to give you a bit of an introduction to the theory of entrepreneurship and why entrepreneurship is seen to be such an important part of business processes in the modern global economy. Now, in starting out this unit, I want to really reiterate to you again that this is very much a theory-driven unit. It's very much about thinking about the concepts and theories that inform entrepreneurial behaviour and innovative practices within organisations. It's not really an applied entrepreneurship unit. So sometimes you'd get to undertake an entrepreneurship unit where the focus of the study would actually be organised around understanding how to apply theory into entrepreneurial practice. So it is very much a theory-driven unit. And so as such, in this unit we're going to be looking at a lot of contemporary writings and readings around the issue of entrepreneurship and trying to understand a little bit about the entrepreneurial process. We'll also be delving into the concept of innovation. The terms entrepreneurship and innovation are sort of used interchangeably, but in fact they are slightly different and they do have slightly different meanings. But I think it's almost impossible to unpack the two concepts from each other, and so we need to understand the process of entrepreneurship and innovation together. So in this unit we're going to spend a fair bit of time discussing entrepreneurial practice, and to get that discussion started in this lecture what we're going to do is look at why innovation and why entrepreneurship is so important. Now I'm not going to talk at length about this, so I'm going to get you to actually do some activities to think about why entrepreneurship and innovation might be seen as being important. And I think these activities will really inform our thinking going forward around what we need to do in this unit. Before we get started though, I just want to say a few words about the structure and setup of the unit. So as I said in my welcome video, each week there'll be a series of recorded lectures that you watch, and then that's supplemented with readings that we do for the course. Then starting in week 2 we'll be having our workshop activities. So for the attending or face-to-face students in Hobart, we'll be having those on Thursday evenings between 5 and 7 p.m. And for those of you who are studying the unit by distance, we'll do an online workshop directly after the face-to-face workshop, which will start about 7 p.m. and run through to 8 p.m. So there's no face-to-face classes this week, week 2 of semester. The face-to-face classes will start next week. In terms of the unit and getting started, as I said in my welcome email, it's really important that you download a copy of the unit outline and that you read the unit outline. The unit outline contains lots of really important information about this subject, and I think it's important that you understand everything in that unit outline before we get started. So the unit outline can be accessed from the Milo site for this page. So if you go into Milo, log into BMA703, you'll see there right on the front page a link that says unit outline, and you click on that and you can download and have a look at that. When you look at the unit outline, there's a couple of key things that you'll see there. One of the key things will be the section on assessment. So this unit has 3 assessment tasks. It has 2 internal pieces of assessment, so 2 essays, and a final exam. So again, because this unit is very much a theory unit rather than an applied unit, the focus of those assessments is really around your ability to understand theoretical concepts. Now that doesn't mean that we won't talk about what it means in practice, and certainly in both of the essays there is scope or opportunity for you to talk about some of the practice aspects of entrepreneurship. So in terms of the 2 essays, the first essay will get you to look at what we're going to sort of briefly introduce today and talk about more in week 2 and week 3, is what do we mean by the concept of entrepreneurship and why entrepreneurship and innovation is so critically important to economies. You know, why is it necessary for the Australian economy to engage in entrepreneurial behaviour? The second essay looks more at the individual and asks us questions about what are some of the issues or challenges that we as an entrepreneur might face in starting up a new business. Again, one of the defining characteristics of entrepreneurs is that they tend to be involved in the process of business startup. So when you get the unit outline, have a look at those. You should start thinking about those, and what we'll be doing in the first workshop, so the workshop in week 2, is I'll be spending a little bit of time talking about those assessment tasks and talking about what you need to do to complete those successfully. You should also have a look at the study schedule. So the study schedule is at the very back of the unit outline, and that will tell you a little bit about the structure of what we'll be doing each week. And most importantly, it tells you what the readings will be that you'll need to look at for each week of this course. The other thing that's in the unit outline is information about the textbook. So here's the photo of the front page of the textbook. The textbook's by Sampson and Glott, and it's called Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Creating New Value. This textbook is available from the Co-op bookshop on campus. You can also buy it online from a number of different sources, and if you go to the publisher's website, you can also get this as an ebook. So rather than buying a physical copy, if you're comfortable with ebooks, you can actually access and buy this as an ebook version. So make sure you go through all of those things, familiarise yourself with the Milo site, and get yourself started in the process. So what I want to do now is just quickly introduce this idea about why is entrepreneurship important? Why is it that an organisation, why is it that an economy would be interested in the notion of entrepreneurship and innovation? And I'm just going to say a few introductory remarks about this, and then I'm going to get you to actually look at some important information about entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial process. So one of the things we'll be looking at will be this website, which is the Australian Government's Introduction to Innovation. So you've probably seen in the business press, regularly people talk about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial behaviour, innovation and product development, and the important role that these plays. And there's no doubting that for an economy to grow and develop, that a level of entrepreneurial and innovative behaviour is critical for that developmental process. What we're talking about when we talk about entrepreneurship and innovation is newness. We're talking about change. We're talking about disrupting what happens in our existing markets and trying to reshape customers' preferences around a new set of value that will enable us as an organisation to be more successful. And so it's very important for businesses who are looking to sustain into the long term that they actually regularly engage in the entrepreneurial process, and that they're constantly thinking about new ways that they might be able to innovate with their products, with their processes, with the way that they provide service to their customer, as a way of being competitively successful. And I think this is particularly important in developed economies like Australia. Australia has transitioned, or has been transitioning, out of a reliance on things like manufacturing and primary industries, although in recent years we've certainly, our economy has very much been driven by extractive industries like iron ore and coal, and increasingly moving into the service economy, and a whole range of new service providers who are actually taking on the challenge of future global business. So if the Australian economy is to continue to grow and develop, we need to regularly invest in innovation. We need to make sure that more and more money is being directed towards developing new products and new ideas. And often this means a strong investment in things like science, technology, engineering and maths, or what's referred to as the STEM-based skills. Because we live in an age where technology really does dominate, and in particular when we talk about technology these days, really what we're talking about is internet-based or computer-based technology. Investing in these key areas of the economy is really important, because this is where the new industries are going to develop. And the good thing about a lot of these new industries is that they aren't dependent on good geographical location. So one of the problems Australia's faced before with things like manufacturing is we have a very small domestic market, but we're also a long way away from large international markets. So when we add the cost of transportation onto manufactured goods from the Australian economy, we find that we're really simply not competitive. And so being able to invest in and develop new industries in Australia is a critical way for overcoming some of those distance issues that the Australian economy has faced. And also transferring terabytes of data across the globe is a hell of a lot cheaper than shipping, container loads of manufactured goods or boatloads worth of coal and iron ore out of the Australian marketplace. And so there's a strong emphasis really on innovation and entrepreneurship as a catalyst for change and development. The problem that we face is that Australia is not the only country that's doing this, and in fact most developed and developing economies are actually investing majorly in innovation and entrepreneurship. If you look at our major trade partners, if you look at places like China, for example, the Chinese government is very keenly aware of the importance of innovation and is investing large amounts of money in developing new sectors of the economy, particularly linked to technology. And so it's a bit of a competitive foot race at the moment between countries like Australia, the United States, the European Union, China, India, to see who can actually drive global innovation and development. And certainly if you look at a country like India, it's quite interesting where manufacturing in India is really not taken off. But if you look at the computer-based sector, places like Bangalore are known as being centres for computer design and for software design. And so it's very challenging for Australia, a very small country at a peripheral part of the world, to compete effectively against some of these very large countries who have much larger budgets to invest in innovation and entrepreneurial behaviour. So what we need to do in this first week is really think about, why is entrepreneurship and innovation important? What is it about the entrepreneurship and innovation process that really will drive and foster a culture of business development and growth? What are the factors that we think might enhance entrepreneurial behaviour, and what are also some of the factors that we think might detract from that entrepreneurial process? So what I want you to do this week, and in preparation for the workshop next week where we're going to discuss this concept in some detail, is I'd like you to review a couple of things. So firstly, I'm going to get you to review this website, the Australian Government's National Innovation and Science Agenda website, and to go through here and sort of read some of the information, to read the report that they have about entrepreneurship and innovation, and to think through what it is that innovation and entrepreneurship might provide to the Australian economy. I also want you to have a look at a report on entrepreneurial behaviour that was in Australia that has been compiled by a group called the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, or GEM. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor is a major international project that's been focused on understanding entrepreneurial behaviour across cultures for many years now. And each couple of years they do a report on the different levels of entrepreneurship in those countries, and it gives us a good snapshot or picture about where entrepreneurial behaviour might be within the economy at the moment. I also have a few other little bits of resources that I'm going to put up for you to have a look at. And also I'd like you to review Chapter 1 of the textbook, because I think that also gives us a really nice overview about what some of the issues are about why entrepreneurship and innovation might be important. So bearing that in mind, your task for the next week is to look through this material, and in the workshop in week 2, so in the first of our workshop sessions, we're going to spend a bit of time talking about why entrepreneurship and innovation is important. Now of course there is a secondary benefit in doing this. The first essay that you need to write actually looks at this very question about why entrepreneurship and innovation is so important to the Australian economy. And so in doing this, it will give you a bit of a kickstart in completing that assessment task. So make sure you review the documents that I've got up on Milo for you to have a look at. Go through, think about some of the issues that are discussed in those documents. And if you do have any questions about the entrepreneurship and innovation agenda within Australia, or more broadly the role and importance of entrepreneurship and innovation, please feel free to contact me. Apart from that, I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.